Uh, yeah, that was a thing. Hey, everyone. I am the dumb. All right. I'm actually getting set up here still a little bit. I was too busy trying to figure out how to start the stream with the horse head on. All right. Hello and welcome to the weekly Wednesday lunchtime live stream here on twitch.tv/DDO stream, youtube.com/dungeons and dragons/live, and facebook.com/DDO Unlimited. I am DDO's Community Manager Cordovan. The game's down. I've got an hour to kill. How am I going to do that? I'm going to answer your questions. Also, I'm waiting for one of our internal servers to actually be updated. And as soon as that's done, it'll take about 5 minutes for me to copy it over into an internal environment. And then we should be able to get onto what's called Flamekeep, and then I can show off some Night Revels things with admin abilities. But I can't do that yet because it's still building. It's taking a long time to build today. But it looks we're pretty darn close. Let me give it a shot and see if this will take. But I'd be happy to answer any questions you might have regarding really whatever you'd like to talk about. We can talk a little bit about Night Revels. Night Revels does go through November 5th, right? Being shut off the morning of the 6th, so we got that going on. Should be pretty cool. Let me actually double check that. I'm not sure if I just lied or not. You'd think I'd remember my own schedule, but no. Too busy. Alright. But yeah, we're actually down today for update 36, patch 4. We do have release notes that you can find on the forums there if you're interested. Yes, Night Revels through the 5th being turned off the morning of the 6th. I can go over the release notes in a little bit too if you are interested. Cool, looks like we are officially done patching. I received word from Kokomo Jobo, so that's real nice. There aren't any horses in DDO. I know, right? This maintenance sucks, but it's not just for update 36 patch 4. Frankly, we have to do some GRS work and data migration work. So we're like actually not data migration, but database maintenance work. So that's why it's an exceptionally long downtime here today. The goal is to be up by 2 o'clock Eastern. We might be up a little bit earlier than that, although to be honest, things are running a little slower than expected. Some of the database maintenance is taking longer to process than intended, or than we thought it was going to. Normally we Scotty this thing, so it's not an issue, but well, we might be getting close to 2 o'clock here today. Well, but stay tuned. If we do need to extend the downtime, I'll just post that up on social media. Hopefully we won't, but in an alternate reality where Snitch the Kobold from Giant Old Tour was responsible for raising Sorjak from Tempest Spine and raised him as a Lich, what is my favorite color? My favorite color is probably brown. And I like the idea of a Kobold Lich a lot. Raptor mounts. Yeah, I understand what you're saying about the internal error instead of patching. It would be nice. Love the new cold dungeon. Yeah, that's been pretty cool. Are we working on lag and night revels? Fingers crossed. Hopefully we'll be making a big difference on that today. I can actually go more into that in just a second. Hyperdorian, hey Jerry, I have a quick question about character animation. I had taken all the armor and gear off of one of my new ASMR, and as I was running him around the airship, I noticed instead of running, he was hopping around. When did that change go into effect? That is a bug, and a bug that should, I believe, also be fixed today. Is there a docent with the Reaper look? I have been getting mixed opinions. People were saying on Lamania that you could just equip the regular Reaper plate on a Warforged, but I'm not sure. I will actually test that in a little bit. That's actually what I figured I'd do today. I had a couple of people who had asked to see the Mist Aura on bows and repeaters, and I keep forgetting to do that. And then also I will spawn the Reaper plate, and we can give that a shot and see how that equips, if it does, on a Warforged. So we will actually do a little bit of live Q&A. I will get on my admin, spawn stuff, and make things happen. I thought that might be kind of a fun thing to do today. I have to be careful. Hopefully... So, this is our internal dev server, and we are hard at work on Ravenloft. Hopefully nothing sneaks in. No promises. But that's the intention. If you accidentally see something, you didn't see anything. Yeah. Alright, I've been reading online some conflicting statements about weapon cosmetics as it pertains to repeaters and heavy crossbows. Can I use glamoring on either of these type of weapons? You should. Well, we'll find that out actually in just a second. But, yes. I believe the answer is yes. Okay, Joe over on YouTube. I wasn't sure where to ask, but Divine Might for War Soul, Wisdom and Charisma are only for melee. What about Silver Flame Longbow? Did I miss an answer to this on the forums? Let me double check that. I had thought that we specifically called that out as melee only, but I could be wrong about that. Oh, let me get back to that question. Let's see. Divine Might for War Soul. Okay. Google War Soul. Oops. Not getting a good, clear answer there. Let me do one more search here. Alright, it just says an insight bonus to strength equal to your charisma modifier. Let me double check that. I think there's one more place to look. Yeah, it just says you gain an insight bonus to strength equal to your charisma modifier. So you should just be able to use that. Well, so it would use dexterity for a longbow, unless you've got the enhancement that would allow you to do that, to use your strength or dex, whichever is higher, for the Silver Flame longbow. Any plans yet on War Priest update to include the new religious favored weapons? No. I think we probably will do some War Priest. That could be the case, that we would include the new religious flavored weapons, but that's not something we have formally announced. So, okay, what about the... So, Divine Might for War Soul just specifically says... Let me recall that up again. It says, you gain an insight bonus to strength equal to your charisma modifier. It doesn't specifically say that it affects your deity's favored weapon. Rather, it just is an insight bonus to strength. And because a bow uses dexterity as its main stat instead of strength, unless you've got the feat that allows you to do that, it shouldn't, I believe, add to your longbow. Let me actually call up the patch 4 release notes here real quick, and I can go through those just to trigger any questions that it might come up, and that sort of thing. Oops. If I can actually learn how to scroll. Wait a second, why am I not seeing it? Well, let me do this the other way. Weird. Do I not have it on the release notes page? Maybe not. Anyway, I'll correct that actually if I need to as well. Alright. Update 36, Patch 4 Release Notes. Classes. The Cleric War Domain now properly grants proficiency with exotic weapons. Yay! My Cleric is now happy. I will point out that it has been displaying or giving you proficiency for martial weapons, even though the icon wasn't reflecting that. Now we have fixed the issue as well, where it was improperly displaying a non-proficient icon with martial. So as of this patch, both martial and exotic should be proficient if you are in Cleric War Domain, and it should display as such. Divine Presence and Divine Will now have their proper durations. Primal Avatar's balance attacks now works properly when dual-wielding daggers with Vistani knife fighting, and thanks to the forum thread, frankly, on that for bringing that one to our attention. We fixed the typos on the ingredients that state they expire at the end of 2016. Now they expire, theoretically, at the end of 2017. But just so you know, I'm not going to say anything, and we'll see if it works like it did last year, where they forget to do it. Resurrection Chamber. Rewards have been adjusted, so the challenge now grants all Night Revels ingredients upon completion. We're basically changing Resurrection Chamber to not just give black apples, but instead give a little bit of everything, similar to Getting Ahead in Lord's March. That's due to the fact that it's, 1, a new dungeon, 2, it's a little bit of a longer dungeon, and so we're changing the ingredients there. We fixed an issue where some of the monsters that granted a star spawn before their objectives actually appear. That could cause problems in there. We added a rest shrine at the bottom of the long descent. We improved the waypoint teleportation section to enter the giant skeleton fight. And we also lowered that second chest in the final room, so you don't need a jump in order to get it as much. Sorry, quest and adventure areas. Reapers will no longer spawn in Giant Old Tor, optional dragon, and giant boss fights. No farm for you. We have corrected an issue where certain abilities were leaving detection objects in an instance and were not decaying properly. This is actually something that affects really every instance in the game, but we believe has been responsible for at least some of the, quote, Night Revel's lag. What happens is, abilities like Colors of the Queen, Rainbow, Double Rainbow, Insidious Spores, Autumn Harvest, Judgment, Judge the Many, Every Light casts a shadow, and shadows cannot exist without light. They place basically a detection effect where they're placed, and that detection effect really determines, hey, is a mob in there? Does it do whatever it's supposed to do? Normally, that detection effect is supposed to decay when the instance, after a certain amount of time, but it was not decaying. So what would happen is, especially in long-running instanced areas like Night Revels, where they don't collapse because there are enough people in there to keep it going, they build up over time and were causing, we believe, some not insignificant kind of, quote, lag issues. It wasn't technically client-server latency, but it was really a game client getting bogged down. So hopefully, after we come back up today, this will make a big difference. We fixed Scourge of the Undead's Ghost Touch. Destroyer of the Undead now passively grants +4 melee and ranged power in addition to its other stuff. Greater Scourge now passively grants +2 melee and ranged power in addition to other stuff. Light damage from ASMR's Scourge of the Undead Divine Purpose now scales with the higher of melee or ranged power. ASMR's Racial Enhancement Tree now has its proper icon. Fixed an issue with axe animations on the ASMR. Fix the fourth attack animation on the Greatsword, and this also does actually impact damage on that as well, because it wasn't doing its fourth attack animation. Corrected an animation issue with female ASMR while running backwards and firing a crossbow. Corrected an animation issue while running unarmed and in a combat stance. Basically, like, you know, when you're near a mob and you start kind of bringing your fists out. Fixed a texture issue with female ASMR lips, and corrected an animation issue with female halfling monks. So, there we go. That is the hotfix. Thanks, Joe, for clarifying. Grace, knowledge of battle, will give wisdom, charisma to hit and damage. So, with Divine Might, it should give a bonus to those per update patch 3. I think you're right then. So it's probably just that it's not interacting properly with either ranged weapons altogether, or specifically with... Yeah, I don't know. I'll have to basically send it to Steelstar and he can look into it. Will the racial AP tome from fam bundles be available in the store someday? At this point, we have no plans to do that. We aren't, say, formally committing in case we change our minds down the road, but that's not the intention. I want to know when the War Priest Soul Tree will be updated. Before or after Ravenloft? It'll be after Ravenloft. But it is something we hope to do. Fix an issue with my ex. Nice. Did I get a chance to check the issue with old Night Revels materials, new Night Revels materials, and crafting storage? Yes, I did, King Cosmo. And as a matter of fact, if you go check the Slack chat for DDO stream, I know most of you can't see it, but King Cosmo can. I've just put in the exact email and report that I sent to QA on it. So what's happening is, if you have 2017 Night Revels ingredients and you put them into your shared crafting storage, whether or not you have old ingredients in there or not, it is displaying as basically the rotten versions of those ingredients. However, when you take them back out of crafting storage, they return to their proper nomenclature and say basically that they are the 2017 versions. There was some concern that when you log out and log back in, they would retain, or they would revert back to the decayed versions, but that was not my experience in testing. I tried it numerous times and numerous combinations, logging out, closing the client, logging out, just doing all, switching characters and doing all that sort of thing, and I could not at any point get it to revert in your inventory to the old ingredients. The new race will be in the DDO store and standalone item in the future, right? Correct. And you can actually find out more about that in the FAQ. I believe we even give a specific date on that. I reveled all night the other night and only got 3 keys, McVegan Pants. That sucks. I've seen other reports. I had a guildie last night that was saying the same thing, but man, my experience has been way different. I got 3 keys within like the first 10 minutes of farming in there. So I guess random number generator is going to suck sometimes. Recolor the Reaper Cosmetic purple to match the Death's Door shield. I wouldn't be surprised if we offered additional colors in the future on that, because it seems to be a pretty popular thing, and it's frankly fairly easy, relatively easy to do on that Reaper plate. So maybe in future years we can even do more colors. And I like purple. That sounds good. How do I make a sacrifice to the RNG gods? It's not so much a sacrifice as it is a Zen moment. You have to not want a thing in your heart and in your soul before you get it. Because if you want it, the RNG is going to be like, uh-uh. But if you're Zen about it and just don't ever want anything, then it'll give it to you. Yep. So will this tech help all instances regarding the Night Revels fix? Theoretically, yes. The thing is we don't think in general it's been too noticeable in most dungeon instances, because when you leave the dungeon, the instance collapses, and that removes the effects. So the only area that this would really come into play is over a longer period of time in an instance that never collapses. And since you can't generally cast these things in public areas, it wouldn't really impact that, because it's not doing any detection, because there's no monsters to detect in the public area. And so it would only involve an instance that stuck around for a long time that had monsters in it. So theoretically, Crystal Cove could be another one. But frankly, we don't have measurable results. I mean, we know it's not a good thing, and so we fixed it. But in terms of will this solve all the sort of lag issues in Night Revels, I wouldn't want to say that. Hopefully it will. Maybe it won't. So we'll kind of see once we get back up today and see what sort of results we see. When is the Night Revel scheduled to close? It'll be running through November 5th, being shut off the morning of the 6th. I will actually, like I say, I'm going to get to that repeater thing in just a second here. Any chance of ever getting chronoscope gear upgrades? There's some chance, maybe, in the future, but it's definitely not on our agenda. Sorry. Is the Gary Gygax area in the graveyard off limits for Night Revels mobs? I believe the answer... I haven't checked in a while, but I seem to recall the answer to that is specifically yes. That we chose not to have them spawn near Gary Gygax's shrine. Alright. Can I please talk about the feedback from the community about the pre-order packs? Oh, it went so well last time. Sorry. I'm not trying to be too snarky about it. I tried to make a comment on it last week, and it's kind of been thrown back in my face. So maybe I should be careful about what I say here. I will say this. I can't. So the problem is you got... In order to answer the question, I really need to talk about sales figures, and I can't talk about sales figures. I cannot talk about sales figures. I'm not allowed to. Ravenloft is selling great. So I appreciate that there are some folks who would like to see changes to the top packages, perhaps maybe to cater more to their particular play style or what have you, cost and all that. But the reality is see, I can't say that. Ravenloft is selling great. Can I show off the Scarecrow? Yeah, I could show off the Scarecrow. What is that in my log? Oh, I got all these things that I can't have. Yeah, okay. Can't summon during live events. I would have to go into a thing to summon the Hireling. Any chance of a challenge ingredient bonus during Night Revels? I would like to see that happen. I absolutely would. I think that it seems like something we might be able to add relatively easily in the future, since we were able to add it to the Mimic Hunt, so we already have, say, the core item there. So I think it would be a matter of having to set prices, do whatever dev work would be involved to change the prices to mimic things and probably create a new item from that. But it seems relatively doable. I mean, I'm not a dev. That seems relatively doable just from my knowledge here. Alright. Mist. Let me... Mist Glamour. Alright. I'm going to spawn a few things here, so that I can check out this mist thing. How many of these did I get? Alright, I've got 10 of them. That should be enough. Let me get some mirrors of glamoring, so I can check out some of these things. Someone wanted to know specifically on a repeater. So let me just, repeating. Bring a couple repeaters out here and see if I can show it off a little bit. See what if anything happens. Alright, let me create this. So this is just a basic densewood repeating light crossbow. As you can see here, this is just one of the models we have. Doesn't really do much, but it is just your basic repeater there. And, now it's just got no particle effects. My suspicion is that since it doesn't have any particle effects, it's not really going to do anything, but we'll see. Alright, so now I've got a glamour of it. Now I can add the mist aura to it. Yeah, so it does take, but it doesn't actually do anything. And the reason for that is that the mist aura basically replaces whatever particle effects are on the item with the mist aura. But if the item doesn't have particle effects to add anything to, it can't. But let's try, let me see if I can find something that actually has a particle effect and see if that can work. Okay, does the Trapsmith's crossbow have a particle effect? No. Oh. Yep, that doesn't have it either. So let me try to figure out, anyone have a good sense of one that does actually have a particle effect? I think there's the Hellfire. I could always try to use that, but let's see. Okay, that one does. Cool. So this one is a... What did I actually summon here? A legendary light bolt slinger. So now let's try the same process here with a light bolt slinger. And I'm actually going to clear out my inventory. So I have a little bit of too much stuff. So first we'll make a cosmetic of it. There we go. And next I will glamour that. There we go. Right, and as you can see in this case, it does indeed provide the mist-like effect. Now, in this particular particle effect, you know, it's just a mesh right on, kind of embedded into the metal there, so it doesn't really mist away like you might expect, but it does change the look of it, if that's something that you're going for there. Let me get back to chat, see what kind of questions I've been getting here. Yeah, I'll try the Epic Hellfire. I could try Pinion as well. More flute music. Last week on Lotro, I actually, because of a Extra Life donation pledge, I had played a Lotro song on my flute on the live stream. It didn't turn out great, but it turned out okay. I hadn't had a lot of time to prepare. But someone had actually given me the sheet music. One of the players who was a good composer actually just gave me the sheet music for it, wrote it up and gave it to me. I will find out about the crystalline scepter here in just a second. All right, let me actually just kind of go through the list here. You know, I'm going to start fresh. Let me do something kind of dumb. Well, no, I don't actually want to do that because I don't want to be naked. All right, so what did I have here? Will we bring the card cruncher back with the Taroka cards in Ravenloft? We will not probably ever be bringing back the card cruncher thanks to exploits. Alright, let's try leverage here. Sorry, it sucks. Okay, so leverage does have a little bit of particle effects on it, but not much. I'm going to guess that leverage isn't going to... No, actually, I don't think leverage has particle effects. I'll try it anyway, but I don't think that's going to work. And you'll see, so it needs to have some kind of like glowy particle effect or something in order to be able to display the mist aura. So, I mean, hopefully people aren't putting it on there. But just in case, just be aware of that. I think it's kind of common sense, but maybe not. Okay, yeah, it does. It looks like what it'll do is kind of what it did for the other crossbow, which is add sort of a mist-like sheen to the metal part of the headstock there. And I know we have quite a few requests for Hellfire. I bet that one would. That's one of the more particle effect heavy crossbows we've got. And I'll actually switch to bows here in just a second, because I know we had some questions on bows too. So make a weapon glamour. Get the Hellfire crossbow. Add the mist to it. Ooh, yeah, that's looking pretty okay. Because Hellfire crossbow's got a much finer sort of mesh, it shows up even a little bit more small. That looks pretty cool to me. Can we talk about the music we're doing for Ravenloft yet? I don't actually know much about the music that we're doing for Ravenloft. So I really can't talk too much about it. My understanding is it's being done by someone who's done a lot of music for DDO. But I haven't actually heard any of it yet. Can I try the Torch of the Priest? Alright, let me see that. Torch of the Priest. I'm not getting any results on that. I must have a different name in the catalog here. Is that the correct name for it? Okay, let's try Pinion. Because I know a lot of people have that thanks to the Raiders reward boxes. Pinion Cloud Piercer, which sounds like a pretty great name for a ranger. My name is Pinion Cloud Piercer. Welcome. Pretty amusingly, it's pretty funny. Get rid of that, and switch to the bow. Ooh, heck yeah. That one definitely is showing a nice mist effect. Not too surprised there. But yeah, that one's looking good. Oh, the Drowned Priest Torch. Okay, okay, there you go. So, you know, long and short of it is I can, and I have no problem doing this, you know, spawn a bunch of items so you can see what it looks like and all that. And I'll do like the Crystalline Scepter and Drowned Priest Torch. Let me try the Crystalline Scepter. But in general, the guidance is if an item has a particle effect that displays on it, then it'll display the Mist Aura. But if it does not have a particle effect, then it doesn't. And the reason for that is there's no particle effect to display. Okay, so looking at the Crystal Scepter, I don't really see any particle effect there, but we'll see what happens when we cosmetic it. Ah, looks like it does. Interesting. Cool. I can actually drop the camera to get even a better view of this. Hey, that actually looks pretty rad. Cool. Nice. Alright, next will be the Drowned Priest Torch. So a lot of the quarterstaffs are going to have the same issue that repeaters do, where they have minor particle effects if they have any. So just, I think, just be careful. Okay. I actually will be curious about the Drowned Priest Torch myself. I have a character I might well be doing this exact same cosmetic on. Looks like the answer is an unfortunate no on the Drowned Priest Torch. I'm dual wielding Drowned Priest Torches on one of my characters. One of my wizards, actually. Because I've got just, I think wands in each hand or something like that. Slave Master Staff, sure. Let's do Slave Master Staff, and then, unless we have any real pressing issues, I can move on to some other things. Okay. Did I do that right? Yeah, I'm not seeing it on the Slave Master's staff. Looks like it's still just got its regular particle effect, as far as I can tell. Quarterstaffs tend to, like I say, be problematic sometimes about their cosmetics. You see that with the regular weaponars as well. Will we ever offer more action points like racial action points? Potentially. I mean, we're definitely doing the action point tome here in Ravenloft. I had something that happened in Night Revels which caused permanent damage, Bruce says over on YouTube. Lava damage kept hitting me after I left the quest. Someone tried to revive me, but I kept dying in a tavern. I ran into that same issue on Three Barrel Cove running the fire caves. A log out and log in will fix it, but that's something that we need to identify and fix in the long term. Not sure if I answered your question. Sorry, Judge Snails. Let me see what I got. Would they ever make the remnants automatically go into our bags? Not sure why we still have to click them. Yeah, that would be nice, wouldn't it? I don't know why that is, that they don't populate into bags the way that most other ingredients do. Yeah, I really don't know the answer to that in terms of the why. Other than I agree, it would be nice. Is Ravenloft the swan song since it's been 4 years since the last big expansion? Just curious. Nope. We got plans for a long time to come. As a matter of fact, we were already talking about what we're going to do after Ravenloft. Next classic pack. Which will be... No, I'm kidding. Dum-dum-dum-dum. You would sell way more of these Weapon Aura things to my wife. It came in Force Purple and Real Chaos Pink. What is it? Light that shines golden? I don't know what shines golden, but yeah, we've definitely had, you know, OG Chaos requests because people want pink weapons over time. We should really add that. Can we add Mist to a helmet? That's funny. I don't think most helmets have particle effects, that's why, because it wouldn't really work. Oh yeah, let's take care of the docent question here too while we're up to it. I'm sure I've got a Warforged in here somewhere. I just have to find them. Ah, there we go. All right. Alright, so the Reaper Plate Red is right here. It says race absolutely excluded Warforged. We'll try it anyway. Nope. Can't do it. We totally should be having that, though. It's a bummer. So the answer to that question is no. Can equip the helmet. And actually, as long as we're looking at it, let's look at the Barovian stuff. Do I have that in my inventory already? No. It's going to be kind of tough to find. We try to do good naming, but sometimes it's better than others. Man, we got a lot of... Part of the problem is we have a lot of items in Ravenloft. Holy moly. Can't believe how much... There we go. Vampire Hunter Kit. I think the answer is no on these two, right? But we'll check. Yeah. So it equips, but it doesn't do anything. Oh no, here we go. Yeah, there we go. Ooh, that's actually kind of a rad look. If I do say so myself. A little bit of clipping on the helmet in the back. Check that out. It's pretty cool. So I'm assuming then the Barovian helmet, which I'm not seeing. We've got a weird name for it. That's not it either. Ah, here we go. Aristocrat's hat. And the outfit. Works just fine. There we go. Cool. Alright. I wish we could use a broomstaff and night revels to fly around. That would be pretty funny. A hat will not work on the Dragonborn, that's correct. I know that one for a fact. Because the Dragonborn head is sort of a cosmetic hat on its own. That's how it was implemented, to be wider than the actual head of a regular human, unfortunately. When will the pre-order end? It will not. The intention is to continue to sell these bundles through the release of Ravenloft. They do have exclusive things to the bundles, but not to the pre-purchase. There are things you get right away for pre-purchasing, like this stuff, but the bundles themselves, we intend to keep them intact long term. So why no pre-order bonus? We tried to find the best of both worlds, which is to offer you something that you can get right away, like the ASMR, Vistani, outfits, Scarecrow, cosmetic pets, but not have it a pre-purchase exclusive, because we've learned over the years that while it might generate some short-term revenue, long-term it's a big pain point for a lot of our community who couldn't make it, didn't have the money, wasn't there, was on vacation, was whatever, deployed, and unable to purchase that thing. And we've got people say, you see them on the forums and that too, it's like, please, what do I have to do to get one of those Onyx Panthers? I'll pay you $200. And we have to say no, because by making it a pre-purchase exclusive and using those words in that, we are legally obligated to only offer it up until the release of the expansion, and then never be able to offer that specific version of it again. So we just know from historical precedent that while some people like those pre-purchase bonuses, there's also a lot of people who really, really hate them, because it's sort of their one chance. And even though it gets us maybe a little bit of money right up front, it doesn't really pay off long term. So we don't want to make people sad. Why do we have to be level 7 to be in the Halloween instance thing? The reason for that has to do with scaling of the night revels. So what'll happen is if we were to... Well, one, I'm not sure that the challenge tech... What is their lowest challenge? I think it's level 4, isn't it? Trying to recall what our lowest level things are. It would be in here, and I believe that's... Like Dr. Rushmore goes down to level 4, yeah. So the lowest we could make it possible, my understanding, is 4. But because of the way it scales, it gets easier and easier and easier. We basically set a base number, and then it goes up and down based on the CR that you choose in the challenge. And for whatever reason, it was determined that if we offered it below level 7, they would basically scale so low as to kind of not really work. It would kind of break. I mean, it would functionally work, but they would be basically weak enough that, you could breathe on them and they would just die. So yeah. So that's why it's level 7. Only the epic elemental victory helm works on Dragonborn. Very interesting. I will have to check that one out. The Vistani Knife Fighter account unlock is absent from the FAQ. Are we getting that in store in March or some other time? It is in the FAQ. I'm pretty positive. Vistani Knife Fighter Update 37 expansion FAQ. Click here for our FAQ. Oh, no, it isn't in the FAQ. Okay. So, it is in the notes, though. And so what's going to happen with Vistani Knife Fighter? Let me double check that we don't have it somewhere in there. It will be available in the DDO store at a later time, and it will be available on a, not account unlock, but per character unlock in the future as well, through Ravenloft Favor. So you'll earn enough Ravenloft Favor to unlock Vistani Knife Fighter on that specific character, and that unlock will persist through reincarnation for the Vistani Knife Fighter on that character. You can also just buy Vistani Knife Fighter in the DDO store eventually as well. But not now. And probably not when Ravenloft is released. What Striding got me 200? It's actually this. It's called Super Speed, a cheaty admin ability that makes you super fast. And to be honest, I could even speed myself up from there, but if I do that, I start to impact server performance. Tweety Pie, you might have broken news that even I'm not aware of. Let me double check that. Did someone just announce we're extending our downtime? Check my own email. I don't have my email client going in general during the live stream just because I'm trying to limit resources since I'm streaming to Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch at the same time. But let me double check that. It sounds like maybe we're having to extend it. It would not surprise me. Like I said, unfortunately, we had allocated, really, frankly, most of the morning to get the database work done, but that database work, unfortunately, is taking a lot longer than expected. Okay, here we go. Steel Star. I'm not seeing it there either. Okay, let me check my email then. I have asked to update me and community on the new open time of 4 p.m. Eastern instead of 2 p.m. Eastern. Yeah, so it looks like CSLKED is taking care of that. But yes, that is true. It looks like we are now up to 4 p.m. Eastern, and it looks like it's because we're having some transformer... It says, unexpected issues with the transformer talking to the new databases. Lovely. But nonetheless, sorry about that. Bummer. Well, hopefully we'll get that taken care of here, and I will keep you up to date on that. Can I summon the Minos helm and put it on that character? Can I? Oh yeah, sure I can. Why, Titan, do you need that? Surely you've got a Minos Legion's helm that you can just sort of put on this character. There we go. Oh yeah. Looking good. Looking awesome. Alright, we're about ready to wrap things up here. Let me see if I got any final questions. Why isn't the word exclusive used consistently? It should be consistently used. We only use it when we mean it on an exclusive item that we intend to never have an option to sell somewhere else. It is used for the cosmetics in the Ravenloft packages. That would be because those cosmetics will never be offered for sale outside of those bundles. We have said on the forums the Bottle of Mist will not be available outside of the Ultimate Fan Pack, but it does not have the word exclusive in front of it. So that's a bit of legalese. We want to potentially not lock us in for life on never offering the Bottle of Mist elsewhere, but when I ask our e-commerce team and the development team, are we going to offer the Bottle of Mist outside of the package, they're like, nope, probably not. So that's why I gave the answer I did on the forums. But we are not locking ourselves legally into that. I will tell you, though, that if you are looking for a Bottle of Mist, you probably ain't going to get it on day one or anything like that if you don't have it in one of the packages. Alright, finally, let's see. Oh, I'm sure we'll have Easter eggs in Ravenloft, Draculetta. I am sure of it. Overall, though, to be fair, it should be relatively easy to get to Ravenloft. The advantage of that Bottle of Mist is you're going to be able to just, like, do it from your ship or wherever you happen to be. Yeah, I can't click on those trees in House Jurasco Yamanira's, sorry. You work with the Transformers? Which one? I like Bumblebee myself. Soundwave is the ultimate Transformer. This is an undisputed fact that Knowledge of the World has voted on. Every single person actually did vote on that. You might have been asleep. So every person except for you, and they determined that Soundwave is indeed the coolest Transformer. All right, that's going to do it with the Weekly Wednesday Lunchtime live stream here on Twitch, YouTube, and Facebook. If you follow us on Twitch, you'll be notified for when we go live with shows just like this. I'll be back on Friday for Friday afternoon. We do have shows this afternoon and throughout the week as well. If you subscribe to us on YouTube, you'll get these videos in your subscription feed. Follow us on Facebook, not just for live videos like this, but also all of our other announcements, including things like our uptime this afternoon. Sorry it's taken a little bit longer than anticipated, but we are working hard to get this database issues worked on, maintenance done, update 36 patch 4 out, and we'll have more information as soon as it becomes available. Thank you very much, have fun, and I will see you on Friday.